30% of patients do not know about it. Type 2 diabetes is much more common than type 1 diabetes. Only 5% of diabetes patients have type 1 diabetes. People with type 2 diabetes don't produce enough insulin. A third type of diabetes is gestational diabetes. People with diabetes have risk of heart disease. Every 19 seconds, someone is diagnosed. 70% of people are unaware of their condition.
Sugar, sugar, no good for body if you take them too much.
I don't think it's hereditary. It's because of the high content of sugar consumption.
Alcohol, beer, alomobita, kai and others, and Igbo, and cigarettes, and snuff. Ihe kwesịrị nwoke ma nwaanyị ekwesịghị na-eri ụmụ ihe ndị a maka diabetes.
Ó máa affect ọmọ bíbí fún obìnrin. Tó bá ń worry obìnrin, ó máa affect ọmọ bíbí. Kò ní lè ṣe menstruation dáadáa. Menstruation time tó yẹ kó rí ó máa cease.
When I have jedi, my hair, it will stand up, it will perform well until I cure the jedi.
Makana sugar na cause diabetes.
Èmi ni Ìbùkún Akínfòsì. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí diabetes. Diabetes ọkùnrin lè ní, obìnrin dẹ̀ lè ní. Ṣùgbọ́n kéèyàn tó lè mọ̀ pé òun kọ́kọ́ ní, a máa tọ̀, ìtọ̀ yẹn á máa pọ̀. Kété tó bá lọ ṣàyẹ̀wò lọ́spítù tó bá ní wọ́n á sọ fún un. Tó bá ti yá kó ní, kò sí ohun tó fẹ́ fi ṣe tó máa lọ pátápátá, kò lè lọ pátápátá.
My name is Orode Uwawa.
My name is Kelvin Brule.
My name is Swatka Sasambo.
I lost my dad from diabetes in 2008.
I lost my father when I was 15 to complications from diabetes.
I lost my father to diabetes.
He was 58 years old when he died.
53.
He was 60.
I was actually in school, so I only remember getting a call. You know, they had found out about it late. I was pretty much kept out of the loop. And when it happened, I received the call because I was in boarding school, and that's how I found out.
Growing up, I had always known my dad to have diabetes. He was diagnosed sometime in 1986.
I was aware of it 10 years before he died, but he had it a long time before we knew about it.
We always had to watch what he ate. Daddy can't eat this, Daddy doesn't eat that. And it was part of our lifestyle.
It was tough because he had to stay off certain kinds of food. So whenever we were cooking in the house, we had to prepare his own meals separately. And then he lived on drugs. Almost all my adult life, I knew my father.
While we were growing, it started getting worse. And initially, it was just the food that was different. Later, he also had to start testing his blood regularly. He had this test kit thingy. Later, I had to start taking insulin injections and tablets.
Like I said, with him being a fun-loving character and such a hard-working man, he never really divulged like his pains and what he was going through. So I was pretty much unawares up until, you know, the last moment. But I guess I thank him for that. Like, I can't imagine what he must have been going through.
It was in December of 2014 when I came back home for the Christmas holiday, and he looked really, really sick. He looked very slim, he emaciated, and then I asked if he was all right. He said he was fine. But my mom's a nurse, so she told me that he wasn't really fine. So we spent that whole holiday together, and then I got back to school. Then on the 14th of January, I was preparing for the Valentine's celebration with my friends, and my younger sisters were all in school together. So I called him a week before then. We spoke, and then he said he was going to send me some money the following week because it was a weekend.
I think where it got most real was when he had an injury on his toe. We thought it was just a minor cut, minor wound. We're treating it. Then he traveled for about 3 weeks or so, and by the time he came back, the injury was worse. He was limping, the foot was swollen. We had to go to the doctor. Finally had to be admitted, and from just a swollen toe got to a swollen foot, then the swollen leg.
And then after I tried calling him several times, his phone wasn't going through, his number wasn't going through, so I called my mom. She would either say she's in the hospital, or Ada's at work, or she's not at home. So one particular night we called her around 9, we knew she would be at home. She said she was at the gate. When she goes back in, she would give him the phone. We didn't know he was in coma at that point. So they later broke the news to us that same day we lost him.
For him knowing like my age and his son, only son in Nigeria, it must have been tough. Like just knowing you're gonna leave someone behind, someone that needs you, someone that loves you, and someone that you love. It must have been traumatic, but he did a good job.
I think the most painful part when he was in the hospital was seeing him gradually get weaker and weaker every day. He had never been ill before. All my life, my dad had never been admitted in the hospital for 1 day. So the only time I ever saw him admitted in the hospital, he never came out. I wonder maybe if he had amputated the leg earlier. He did not want to have the leg amputated, so that's part of why we kept on, trying to find a solution. Finally, we got to the point where we're like, okay, if it's the leg they want to cut off, if it's the hand, whatever it is, but they should just keep him alive. But by that time, it was rather late, so I don't think he would have been happy if he was alive with one leg, but at least he would have still been alive.
If he was still around, I may currently have 30 billion in me. But aside from that, I don't know, I would probably be a much more well-rounded individual. There are lots of mistakes that I'm making and I will make that I probably wouldn't have had to.
When I feel like talking to someone, my dad was always the person I spoke to. But after he died, it became tough for me.
Obesity causes diabetes.
Yes, it does. You vegetable your stews.
Expensive.
Water content.
Very good.
Yes, it's good.
Very fresh.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Barry of Amore Health, and I am here with Baba. Baba? 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 We're having the interview. Oh yes, oh yes. Baba has been living with diabetes for the past, how many years? 30 years. Wow, that is quite an achievement. Oh yes. Can you tell me how it has been so far? Well, when it first happened, I think say my enemies they do juju for me. Then what now happened? I go see my doctor, then do test, come talk say na diabetes. And how has the journey been so far, sir, living with diabetes? Well, I did manage. I'm still alive and in good health. That is very, very nice to hear, sir. What have you done so far to ensure that your health status remains impressive for your age?
instead of eating simple carbohydrates, which can cause a surge in blood sugar levels, eat more starch-based carbohydrates. Eat fruits in moderation as they contain sugar. Consume sufficient fiber to slow down your body's carbohydrate absorption. Animal protein is carbohydrate-free, but plant-based protein and dairy products contain carbohydrates. Strive to maintain a healthy BMI. The heavier you weigh, the higher your diabetes risk.
Baba, I dey listen to my doctor. Yes, I dey take all my drugs as at when due. And the doctor say make I dey always dey wear shoe. Really? Why? He say care of the feet is paramount in health of diabetics. That is impressive that you still remember. I go school, oh. And then what else, Baba? Well, I watch what I eat and I try to be active. What sort of activity? I mean, you play football? You dey craze? What? I don't hold. Okay, so what do? I walk around the house, I move about, and sometimes I dey chase my youngest wife round the bed. I don't think the audience, the guests at home need to know that. Exercise now, exercise. Oh. Do you know your blood sugar?
People that feel like an allergy seems. Have you checked your blood sugar? Sugar high. Have you checked your blood sugar? Sugar high.